Welcome to FEO on the Air, the voice of the festivals and events industry in Ontario. This week, it's Experience Ontario with your host, FEO CEO Dave MacNeil.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to FEO on the Air. This week, we're got another edition of Experience Ontario, and this week we're stopping in RTO 11, Ontario's Highlands, and we've got a number of people joining us. I'm going to do a quick introduction of everybody, and then we'll one by one go through and get more detail. From the Ontario Highlands, the Director of Marketing, Luisa Sorrentino, joins us. From the town of Bancroft, Tait, who is going to talk about the Rockhound Gemboree. And we've got Angelica Ingram from Haliburton, who's going to talk about Hike Haliburton. And of course, every time we have an Experience in Ontario, we're fortunate to have Troy Young from Attractions Ontario to join us and talk about what else is going on in the region. So, Louisa, we're going to start with you and give us your elevator speech on the Haliburton's Highlands, RTO 11, and everything your beautiful region has to offer those people of Ontario.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, and welcome everyone. Ontario's Highlands. So Ontario's Highlands includes and is about 2.5 hours east of Toronto and about an hour west of Ottawa. Just to give you an idea of what our RTO is, and I'm sure the listeners are familiar with the Regional Tourism Organization world, but we are one of 13 not-for-profit organizations that are established and funded by the Ontario government that help support tourism and in our respective regions. So what sets our region apart, RTO 11, from the other RTOs is that we are an entirely rural destination. So our largest town, just to give you an idea, the city of Petewawa, which is located in Ottawa, is our largest urban center with a population of 17,000. So all the other ones are much smaller. And although the numbers seem small, we are the second largest region in the, regional destinations in Ontario, RTOs in Ontario. So we represent geographically about 24,000 square kilometers, or about 9,000 square miles. And if you wanted to go from one side to the other of the RTO, is about a 3 hours drive. And for those of you who are more familiar with the state sizes, would be our region is about the state of Vermont or the country of Belgium. So it's, it would be a small nation, but nevertheless, we are still part of Ontario. And so, as I said before, we work with 6 counties, 45 municipalities, and about 1,300 businesses that operate in tourism. So we pride ourselves on being a sustainable tourism destination, and our brand is very much focused on the pillar of wandering sustainably. And we're also a big gateway to Algonquin Park, which is Ontario's oldest and most famous provincial park, with about 800,000 or more or less visitors a year. So for us, tourism is not just, sleep and eat and stay, but it's about building communities that are sustainable in the long term. So making sure that everyone, is involved in, keeping the place and the nature of the place pristine. And so, even our small towns are full of characters, like people that have been there for generations, and they have a lot of stories to tell. So they love to tell the stories to the newcomers and to the visitors. Good luck visiting one of those small towns and not wanting to move there, because I am telling you, it's happening. Like, people, every time they go and visit, they end up trying to figure out how to move there. Anyway, just to give you a little bit of a more specific intro to the 6 counties that are included in Ontario's Highlands. So I'll start with Renfrew County, which is also called Ottawa Valley. And of course is a world-renowned whitewater capital of Canada. Like Ottawa Valley is home to, I want to say 900 lakes and a lot of river, like more than at least 4 major river systems. It doesn't have just that. I mean, that's just, the main attraction of what Ottawa Valley is known for, whitewater capital Canada. But of course, we have a lot of different routes, and, all scenic routes are amazing in the Ottawa Valley. But then we have Lanark. Lanark is known as the maple syrup capital of Canada. And that also spans from the Rideau Canal to the Canada-Mississippi River. And it also has over 100 lakes, rivers, waterfalls, coves, beaches, that, kind of speckled landscapes. So take a road trip through Lanark and off to Renfrew Valley, and you'll be amazed by the small towns, the eateries, like the breweries, the art. Famous in Lanark are the town of Almont and Perth, which, have been featured many times in many Hallmark movies. All drive amazing. Then we have Frontenac. So we do share 3 counties with RTO 9. So we would have the northern part of 3 counties, Frontenac and LNA and Hastings County. So Frontenac, I mean, you name it, no matter what it is that you want to do, right? Like there's Charlotte Lake. So you can do if you wanted to do backcountry camping. And I mean, all of this is 4 seasons, right? Like you can do skiing, like snowshoeing, cross-country skiing. You want to go snowmobiling. There are obviously a lot of lakes and nice, cozy, like, cottages. Some are smaller, some are bigger, but more or less, you can visit really for. Then of course, you have Lennox and Addington, which is home of Boneco Provincial Park and the Mazenod Rock. So, I would highly recommend, if some of the listeners have not been there, to go maybe in a little bit in the off or shoulder seasons, because it is just incredibly beautiful, and the beautiful art, like Indigenous art that is there too, is quite breathtaking. Also in Lennox and Addington, dark sky viewing area. So they have events pretty much every month where you can go and observe the stars. Some are guided stargazing tours. One of the latest ones where I have been, there were people that had been that drove more than 3 hours to come and see the dark skies there. It's just like stunning, breathtaking. And then of course we have Hastings County, which of course has like a bit of everything. A farmland is a very rural destination with the little charming villages. Also, of course, home to the Rockhound Gemboree, because it has this amazing diversity when it comes to minerals, and it's just so rich in history as well as natural wonder. And of course, Hastings County is also home to the Norton Winery in Ontario, which is in Tweed. And it's called Potter Settlement Winery. And if you haven't seen that, just right on the, the beautiful Canadian Shield, it's just breathtaking. And then, of course, we have Haliburton Highlands, which, amazing. Again, on the Canadian Shield, just so rich with heritage, lakes, trails, amazing locals that welcome you as family. I just love the communities, and they're just very vibrant. They have a very vibrant art community there. They have a folk group. Like music is an incredible attraction there, and it just really complements perfectly with the beautiful landscape. Of course, Haliburton is home to the Haliburton Forest, where you can go and see the walls as well. And yeah, don't forget your bicycle, so you can go and see the trails by bike. But also we have Angelica, so maybe she can tell you a little bit more about that. And last but not least, because we have so many beautiful winding roads in Ontario's Highlands, we also welcome a lot of riders, motorcycle riders. And we have quite beautiful routes that have been developed under the brand Ride the Highlands. So I invite anyone who is inclined to do so or is looking for a new route to go to ridethehighlands.ca to have a look, because we have expanded the routes this year. So lots of choices of beautiful places to go and see the vistas and take pictures and experience food and all in between. I think that's it for me at this point, but I could be talking forever because there is so much to see. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much, Luisa. A couple quick questions for you, and you kind of touched on it. Us down here in the south, we kind of think of the region as cottage country, and as cottages have changed, much as your communities there have changed, and you touched on it. It's not just a summertime and spring, fall resort. It's a 4-season destination now.
Yes, correct. And quite frankly, fall is definitely one main season where people really love to come here and just experience the foliage, their glory. But winter, I mean, winter is quite incredible. And we are among one of the few who still have winter. And quite a range of opportunities when it comes. Like you can go from Haliburton, snowmobiling all the way to the Ottawa Valley there, and it's a very nice. I want to say 2 days, no, two nights, 3 days, snowmobile track, which we've seen a very busy winter. Well, this past winter, because we had snow. Of course, we cannot fight with climate change, or if there is no snow, but I am telling you, especially in the northern part of, say, Haliburton and Renfrew County, the snow has been constant there. So we're lucky that way, that we can definitely welcome people for 4 seasons, because there is no shortage of outdoor activities in Ontario's Highlands.
And as more and more Canadians are traveling in and around Canada, and people are staying in Ontario, are you seeing that reflected in your stays in your regions? And the second part to that question, are you still seeing our American friends coming over and enjoying the beauty of all your region has to offer?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. Thank you for asking that. Through the last few years, looking at the data, we have seen extension in terms of the nights, because typically Ontario's Highlands was more of a day trip destination, but now it seems that there are at least 2 or 3 nights minimum when visitors come and stay a little bit longer, spend a little bit more. So we don't necessarily have more people coming, because we are targeting a very specific type of traveler. As I said, very sustainable, very oriented to keeping and preserving nature. But they are staying longer, they are spending more, they are bringing more value to the communities, and often, like I said before, they end up looking into, how can I live here permanently? Yes, I mean, we're lucky because we do have a seasonal residents, group that is quite significant. So, they come, the summer, say the summer, probably close their cottage. I want to say maybe at Thanksgiving. But some, are actually renting their cottages now in the winter for the snowmobilers. So even if it's not the usual suspect, we have seen this continuity. And I want to say that thanks to our Ride the Highlands program as well, we have seen a bit of an increase in people coming to ride the Highlands from Quebec and the US. Because of proximity, right? And of course, convenience, because, it's quite affordable. So, yeah, after during the pandemic and after the pandemic was a boom. Like, we were so busy, 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 busy. And then there was a little bit of a lull, like a little bit less of a dip, I should say. I want to say maybe in 2022. And now we're back, and we're back with the vengeance, because, people are staying longer and they're spending more. They're contributing to the community, so that we are sustainable, so that people can have a better quality of life, even for the rest.
Well, thank you very much, Louise. A lot of great information, and hopefully the province keeps working on our connection activities so we can get stronger Wi-Fi connections up there and better connections.
Absolutely. Yes, it's a work in progress, but it's also part of the charm. Some people do come to disconnect. So
Exactly.
It's a balance.
We all need that from time to time.
Yeah, that's
Thanks,
right.
Louisa.
First.
Okay, we're going to travel down the road to Bancroft and welcome Robin Tait from the Rockhound Gemboree. Hi, Robin. You want to give your area a little shout out and then get into the Gemboree and what you're all about?
Sure. Hi, Dave. Thanks. So I'm the tourism or the planning and development coordinator for the town of Bancroft. We're located in Hastings Highlands, and we are known as the mineral capital of Canada. And we took over operations of the Rockhound Gemboree in 2019, and it aligns really well with that designation as the mineral capital of Canada, as it celebrates our geological significance and the earth sciences specifically. It is a retail gem and mineral show that attracts thousands of visitors every year. It's a 4-day festival over the civic holiday long weekend. Yeah, and we got lots of other value-added attractions during the event. We have a speaker series and a very popular gold panning for the kids. We're always looking for opportunities to add value to the show itself.
And specifically, what type of gems are you guys known for in the region?
Sure. So we're probably best known for the mineral sodalite, which I believe was a member of the royal family saw it at a World's Exhibition fair and ordered quite a lot of it to be used to decorate in their castles and homes. You can see sodalite being used in the Royal Ontario Museum in the Rotunda. Now it is mostly used for decorative purposes, for jewelry, for garden stone, and that's probably what Bancroft is most famous for, is that blue sodalite.
And Robin, opportunity to shout out to some of your other festival events happening in the area that I don't want to put you on the spot.
Sure. No, absolutely. Yeah, so like Louisa was saying, we're kind of we are an area that has a number of events, and throughout the season, we have a cycling event usually in the fall, known as the Hilly 100. We also have an event called Rally of the Tall Pines, which is part of the Canadian Rally series that it's held annually, usually around the end of November. So it's kind of one of those shoulder, season events that occurs. So those are just some of the things that are going on, as well. As Lise was saying, like, we've got the snowmobiling in the winter, and then in the summertime, we've got all those summer activities that people can enjoy outside.
Yeah, just a beautiful area of Ontario. Thanks very much,
Absolutely.
Robin. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Well,
Dave.
Angela, it's over to you and the Haliburton County and the hike Haliburton. Louisa touched a bit on it, but here's your opportunity to go more into depth and talk about some other things in and around your area. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dave. Yeah, it's great to be here. So Hike Haliburton Festival has a great long history as well. It's an event that was established more than 20 years ago by a grassroots organization called the Haliburton Highlands Trails and Tours Network. And it was created with a sense of wanting to show people and the public the great trails and hiking routes that our county had to offer. We're a very large county geographically, the Haliburton Highlands, and we have 4 municipalities within our county. And so this was established, this event in 2003, and then it was taken over by the County of Haliburton in 2010. And the county's been running it ever since. It's Canada's largest hiking festival. And I think one of the cool things about it is the majority of it is free. So all the hikes that you can sign up for are free to attend, and they are led by volunteers and expert guiders from the area. There's a fall edition of the festival, which is what it was started as a fall event, and it takes place always the third weekend of September over the course of 4 days. And so that one's our larger edition of the festival, and it usually attracts around 1,500 people to the area. And there's also some value added events as well. There's usually some live music events during the 4 days and some workshops or activities for kids. And then about 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, I should say, it was right before COVID, the county introduced a winter edition of the festival. So on the second weekend of February, they do sort of a micro version where they, over 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, will hold a smaller sort of festival with hikes as well. And this one attracts between sort of 200 to 300 people. And most of those hikes are designed to be done on snowshoes. You don't have to, but they are sort of, it's more of a snowshoeing hiking festival. Same kind of idea, free hikes led by volunteer guiders. There's a few extra activities and events that are held on the weekend to tie in with the event. And yeah, we have over 2,000 kilometers of trails up here in our county. So it's a really great way to see the area. The other neat thing about the festival is it's a lot of the hikes are done on what are typically private lands. So people will open up their farms, their homesteads, we have a lot of people up here who have large properties of acreage, and they'll let you hike on their back 40. So you're seeing an area that you normally wouldn't have access to. So it's not just hikes on public parks or trails that are open year round. It's also sort of the back corners of the county, which is kind of a neat experience. So, and there's always some colorful guide leaders who have lots of stories and anecdotes, and some have some incredible wealth of knowledge of the area, like history you wouldn't believe. And so it's always neat to hear their perspectives and them sharing their information. So that's a little bit
Angelica,
about Hike Haliburton.
you and Robin both touched on it and mentioned that have taken over. And it's a trend we're seeing more and more in festival events where festivals or events were started by groups or individuals. And then, whether it's risk management or the cost of suppliers and everything else, just can't really afford to run it. But the region or the area has seen the importance of those festival and events and have taken them on. So, can you talk a little bit about that and then the decision making behind it?
Sure. Yeah, I've been with the county for a year and a half now as the manager of tourism. I was in the area back when this happened. I don't particularly know why the county took it over, so I can't speak to that. But in my experience, a lot of this has to do with, like you said, risk management, insurance liability. It's becoming more and more difficult for small, not-for-profit or volunteer organizations to run these kind of events that require huge amounts of insurance that they quite honestly can't afford. And then there's also the topic of the volunteer capacity. More and more we're seeing organizations struggling to get the volunteers they need to run these events. And here in Haliburton County, we have a very senior population. And a lot of our service clubs and our volunteer organizations are being run or operated with senior citizens, who have limited energy and time themselves. So it's definitely a challenge we're seeing. So it's one of these things where we're seeing a lot of municipalities and government organizations trying to keep these long-standing festivals and events and often these are fundraisers too for the community for different organizations, and we need to keep these dollars coming in. So you're seeing this happen more and more. And I don't know that I have the answer to how to solve all that, but it is definitely a challenge. Volunteer capacity is top of our list of struggles for this area, and and how to do more with less and less funding.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Those are the three biggest topics that we at Festival and Events Ontario hear and communicate and try to work with, government organizations and advocate on their behalf. Is the first of all, the capital and the funding, number one. The
Mm-hmm.
risk management is huge, and the volunteer capacity. It's an issue for everybody because, as you said, especially in a senior community, and one of the unfortunate things about COVID is it gave a lot of those seniors the opportunity to get out of volunteering and not come back.
Mm-hmm.
And, people that could never say
Mm-hmm.
no, all of a sudden it became very easy to say no.
Right.
And then the other thing with you mentioned service clubs. Unfortunately, service clubs are dying in the province and in
Mm-hmm.
Canada, and they're not being sustained the way they once were. And they were the foundation of a lot of the festival events, volunteer bases. And I think, and I've spoke to the Minister of Education about it as well as I think students coming out of high school these days and having their 40 hours in thinks their volunteering career is over. They've done what they needed to move on, and it's harder to re-engage. And I know they're coming into a new work world and young families,
Yeah.
but I think it's important to stay involved and connected in your community somehow, some way, even if it's just for a few hours a month. But it's something
Absolutely.
that definitely we all have to work with and work on and continue to
Yeah.
explore ways to turn that around.
Yeah,
So thank
especially
you.
because, oh, sorry, I was just going to say a lot of these events like Hike Haliburton, there's so much economic spin-off for the community. So
Exactly.
the county and the businesses, they don't want to see these events fall by the wayside because that's 2,000 people that are coming into the area that might not be coming in other times of the year. And that's economic spin-off these businesses can't afford to lose. So,
Yeah, and that's part of our story and our advocacy work is obviously the municipalities and the regions are seeing the value in these events for just that, the economic spinoff. And that's the important part of funding is being able to sustain them, you know, with whatever we can. So
yeah.
great, hit on a lot of touch topics for us for certain. Well, Troy, it's your turn. Troy Young from Attractions Ontario. Um, our three lovely ladies have hit on a lot of great things to do up and around the area. So, Troy, what have they missed, and what else can you explore up in the Haliburton Highland region?
Well, I'd be remiss to not mention the rafting on the Ottawa River. These are the only commercially accessible um, Class 5 rapids that you can raft. There are some Class 5 rapids available for navigation up near Kenora and Thunder Bay, but they don't have the same easy accessibility. Like you have to go in deep to find them, so it's usually left only to professionals. But whether it's with wilderness tours or owl rafting or river run or even the Madawaska Canoe Center, you can access some of this white water. And they have the full gamut from, class 1 to 3s, which are acceptable for families that could be just a gentle float down the river to up to the class 5, which are going to be a big challenge. But they're going to be out there with you. It's safe to do. Some of these resorts, these offerings have resort accommodations available on site for you as well. So that adds to the experience. It's not just the rafting. You get to go and stay in the wilderness of the uh, beautiful Ottawa River Valley. Other things, there's Splash Valley Water Park and Resort up near Cobden. You've got a water park, you've got paddle boats, mini golf, petting farm, picnic areas, beach. There's a 18-hole golf course there. They have luxury villas. They have motel suites. You can bring your RV. You can go camping. And talking about being a four-season destination, they also have snow tubing, outdoor ice skating, cross-country skiing, and something that I think we've kind of missed here is the Ontario snowmobile trails that go throughout this region that are really a neat way to access it. Now, I mean, maybe not everybody is out there snowmobiling, but for those that are, it's a great area to do it in. You've got so many small communities along the way that have just various offerings as well. I know with us, we have the OntarioRoadTrips.ca website that we've actually worked with a number of different sector associations to populate. So it's not just the Attractions Ontario members. You'll find feast on restaurants through culinary tourism. You'll find places to dock your boat through Boating Ontario, things of that nature. So this is a grand part of the province to really investigate and explore. I think, Luisa, your website is comewander.ca even. I mean, that speaks to that whole, let's just get out and explore, and there's so many ways to do it, whether it's through the waterways, through the snowmobile trails, through your car. On the culture side, apart from going out and rafting, if you're interested in museums, I mean, we've got the Mississippi Mills Textile Museum, which is up there, as well as Louise had mentioned Petawawa, and of course, most people, if they've heard the name Petawawa, it's probably affiliated with Canadian Forces Base Petawawa, and there is the Garrison Museum there too. So if you want to go and see the military history of one of Canada's most important forces bases, and of course regiments that are there, you've got that. So there's a little bit of something for everybody, and I think everybody else has touched on some great things to see and do. I can't underestimate the economic value of these festivals in bringing people to these towns and what it does and the attractions that are there. But even beyond the economic impact, which of course is huge for these towns, it's that added way of life, right? It's adding something of value that makes these places unique and special. And it's so important to keep them going, because otherwise, if you took all the festivals away across this province, what do you got, right? Like, you've just got sameness everywhere. This is what adds to the value of these towns and living in these towns. So, I mean, whether you're a local or whether you're a visitor, these festivals have true value, even beyond the economic impact, which is huge. So we can't say enough about that. So get out and explore. Come wander. OntarioRoadTrip.ca. Go to AttractionsOntario.ca. We have the entire province broken down by the various regions that were there, and the various towns that are in these regions are represented too. So it's a great way to really explore.
Well, thank you very much, Troy. Thank you, Louisa. Thanks, Robin, and thanks, Angelica. Jay has got all of the links in our chat for anybody that's looking for more information. And certainly, if you've missed it, just get in touch with the FEO office, and we can certainly pass on any of the contact information that you're looking for. Before we leave, any questions from anybody in the room or in the chat? I don't see anything in the chat. So seeing no hands raised and no questions put forward, just a quick promo for next week on June 24th. Deb Mann's going to host our masterclass with her guest, Emily Tell. Emily is with Idea Tilt, and she's going to talk about options available in AI for festivals and events. So that's next week on June 24th, Deb Mann and masterclass. Just a note, our July 1st typical FEO on the Air will not be happening due to Canada Day and all of the activities happening throughout the province. We hope you all have a great time on Canada Day, but hope you join us next week for FEO on the Air.
Thanks for listening to FEO on the Air, the voice of festivals and events in Ontario.